Hello everyone! Today I'm in Portugal and I'm in a rather special place and I'll show you where I am and why I'm here. So right behind me you can see there's these really peculiar buildings, and if you looked at them first you thought, well, maybe they're like little churches or like little crypts, you know, is it a graveyard? But actually it's not. So I'm in Portugal, in the mountains, in a town or a village called Soajo, and these people here, from the 18th century they started building these granaries. So these little buildings, they're here to store grain. So come and join me and I'll show you how it all works. So as you arrive, so you see the town over there, and here there's a massive crag, and on top of it there's all these granaries. There's a few dozens of them, but what really I really find interesting is the design. So essentially the way they built them is they had to prop them on these giant stone mushrooms. So each granary is propped on about 8 stone mushrooms, and the whole thing is built out of granite. So the granite's been quarried in Peneda mountains to build these granaries. So you can imagine, you know, they're really heavy, and look at how beautifully, look at how it all connects. So there's a bit of craftsmanship that came in to building these, and some have doors at the front, and then others will have doors at the side, and all of them invariably will have 2 crosses like a church either side. So yeah, clearly religious people. And now the other feature is that all of them have these tiny slits for windows. Well, I say windows, they're just for ventilation really, but you could hardly, like, I could probably put my pinky through, but they're just absolutely tiny. And you can see how high we are in the mountains. So it literally is all around. So it's sort of like a central focal point, and the villages surround these granaries, and they were used by the community, so they were shared. So the first ones were built still in the 18th century, so 1780s, but then believe it or not, they still kept building these all the way into the 19th century. So when in England, you know, you already had Victorian times, these guys here, they were still building these stone granaries. Some were bigger than others. So this one's quite large, and you can see the size of the slabs that they had to use to build the whole thing. And now invariably the whole thing is made out of stone, so even the roof, and then the roofs will vary. So this one has a really interesting structure with these sort of supporting beams, as well as that one. And where they started building them, propping them up on these mushroom-shaped stones, these slabs, eventually it looks like then it evolved into this sort of simpler design, and then eventually they just gave up on the mushrooms, and it just ended up these little almost like bench-like structures. Now, the reason why they built them, it's not just to dry, so this is to store corn and other grains. Now, so the reason why they store them here and not just in their houses is to protect from rodents, so like rats and other animals. But I don't know, I just find it quite surprising, quite suspicious, because anyone who's got a garden will know that, you know, a rat or a mouse will be able to get through pretty much anywhere. So I would find it surprising that a rat wouldn't get through in you know, in a little house like that. For example, if we go and visit this one, you can see these mushroom shapes really clearly. So there's granite and it rests on top, and then on top of that you've got the slabs nicely joined, and then you've got this door. The doors aren't original, so the doors would have been, you know, you can see there's modern hinges, that would have been changed, but it would have been a similar sort of thing. Obviously the door wouldn't have been wooden, but if you look at it, so imagine a mouse or a rat, I think, would easily run up there and then would probably quite easily come through one of those slits, you know, especially the larger ones. So I do find it quite surprising, but obviously people knew what they were doing. I guess maybe they were just cutting their losses. Maybe they had an army of cats running around, I don't know. But yeah, what do you think? Tell me in the comments below, because I do find it surprising whether this would actually protect from the rats. And you see this one actually has an L-shaped, almost like feet that they're resting on. I mean, absolutely amazing. And another interesting fact is that which I find is the funniest. So another interesting fact is that actually even today some granaries are still in use. So people are still storing corn till today. And I think there are about there's here in Soajo there's this location, and there's another one in Lindoso, a similar sort of site. And I think there's about 50 of them that are still in use. So if you think this is a relic, no, it's very much a 21st century implement. So I just find that absolutely amazing. Beautiful mountain landscape. There's citrus trees, and there's people have got their pumpkins lined up on the balcony. Must have lasted all winter. And one interesting detail, just as I was driving past, you can see here the slabs that they're making, these espigueiros. And by the way, they are called espigueiros. They're here, and you can see it's really similar like in mining. They're like stitch drilling them and forming them. And this one is actually separate, and I think this one is the one that's still in use. So yeah, this is the way people. Well, so if you're ever in Portugal, in Soajo, I'll leave the location below. So if you're ever in Portugal, don't forget to visit this amazing place, and also the drive up in the mountains. It's just beautiful. So it's such a peaceful place, and like today it's sort of slightly rainy, slightly warm, and it's just such a refreshing place. Well, that's it from me today, and do join me soon. Catch me somewhere in the world. It could be Wales, or it could be Portugal, or who knows, wherever else. I will catch you. So take care, stay well, and bye for now.